Stone Freeman is here. He's been a play-by-play man on Your View for many years and was recently named Executive Director of Rhody Excellence, a newly formed initiative to create name, image, and likeness opportunities for the University of Rhode Island student athletes. This is a brand new position. Stone, congratulations, and thanks for joining us today on Main Street Living.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. I'm excited to talk a little bit about NIL and where we stand here at the University of Rhode Island.
And again, name, image, likeness. I think a lot of people don't even know what NIL stands for. So,
yeah, I think I need to have some of that too. Just as part of being a comic, right? But first off, Mr. Freeman, can you tell us about the Rhody experience and why is it so necessary in college athletics today?
Yeah, it's a great question. And Rhody Excellence is an NIL collective, right, which are popping up across the country right now, where it's groups of, contributors and fans that want to support these name, image, and likeness opportunities for student athletes. It's critically important right now because it's kind of this different piece to recruiting, to retaining student athletes, and getting student athletes interested in coming to, in our case, the University of Rhode Island. So we're a collective base. So it's people coming together, backing it with dollars and cents, to then create opportunities for student athletes. We're also in the business of facilitating these opportunities too. So if there were businesses that are interested in gaining access to our student athletes at URI, that would also fit into our grasp. So this is completely new, and by new within the last 2 years, but it's new to URI in terms of bringing me on board and having a point of contact for fans to reach out to and get access to our student athletes.
Nice.
Well, people coming together for a good cause like this, a collective to help these student athletes is what we're all about on Main Street Living. What makes this specifically unique, and why should individuals or businesses want to get involved?
Yeah, it's a great question. Ultimately, the easiest way to understand what we are as a collective is influencer marketing, right? That's another way that we can kind of look at this, right? We see so many young people, but people in general, right, using their platforms as a way to push people's brands and things of that nature. That's what NIL is, but we're using college athletics as really the segue, right? So it's everything from bringing our student athletes into the community, right? So if there's a business that wants to have student athletes come and support their business or represent their brand, that's something we can do. We're also working with a lot of nonprofits around the state and elsewhere, right, where we might have a contributor that has a really important nonprofit in mind that we can then send our student athletes to that nonprofit to represent them and bring some light to those as well. We just had a great opportunity this last week at the YMCA down by URI in Kingston, Rhode Island, and we brought 4 of our men's basketball student athletes there to do a shooting clinic with some of the youngsters at the YMCA. So it's a great opportunity to see our student athletes out into the community, create that relationship with them, and also grow people's businesses and brands, which I think is equally as important.
Oh yeah, growth, community, togetherness, and all of that. I think all of that is cool, and we're really big on that here on Main Street Living, as well as the aspect of just like the partnership and the relationship, especially when it comes to businesses and, like you mentioned, the individual student athletes. So Stone, have you seen a lot of that early on?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of businesses, largely ones that are already partnering with the University of Rhode Island, that are saying, what is this new frontier, right? What can we do that helps the student athletes, of course, get compensated, but also helps grow their reputation, right? So we have a lot of our partners right now that are thinking, all right, how can we get the student athletes involved? How can we continue to push our brand that way? And again, it comes back to just relationship building, right? I think if you look back to some of the other sports or teams at URI that we've had over the years, we've had really successful teams that have come through our school, right? A lot of those people are saying, if this was around 5-6 years ago when the Rams were in the NCAA tournament, what's the true potential there, right? And that's what we're trying to get people to see now, is that community aspect where the team's really good, where we're firing on all cylinders, how those student athletes can continue to grow their own brand while also pushing the business's brand themselves. So again, it's back to that relationship. It's back to community. It's getting our student athletes into a realm that they can get career development as well, right? Because what happens after basketball, right? What happens after football? These student athletes have to be prepared for that. And that's where I think NIL, relationship building, community building is all in the same ballpark. I think there's so many horror stories out there right now about NIL, but ultimately we're in this for the right reasons. We want our student athletes in the community building other people's businesses and building their brands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Stone, we know you also do play-by-play, and now you're in this entirely new position. It's crazy to see how college athletics is always changing. I, of course, am still mourning the loss of the Pac-12, we just put a bow on that. We wrapped that up. But now, I mean, you're in a position that didn't even exist a few years ago. And so the groundwork is sort of being laid right now for what NIL is going to look like in the future, and how do we do it right versus how do we do it wrong. I'm curious to see how you see this evolving, especially in regards to the transfer portal. I think that a lot of people have a lot of feelings about the transfer portal and students jumping around to different schools.
Oh, that's so huge, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. It's a great talking point too. I mean, right now, college athletics is seeing a different, again, frontier, right? This NIL space. There's so many question marks. There's so many things that fans want to know. The transfer portal, et cetera, right? I think ultimately where we stand on all this, in particular, my personal opinion is that if change shouldn't be something we should be afraid of, right? I mean, the old school days of players only transferring, really once and then sitting out a year, those days are over, right? We're seeing conference realignment. We're seeing all these things that have a lot of people with a sour taste in their mouth about college athletics, right? But to me, it's opportunity, right? It's an opportunity for us to grow. I see us at the University of Rhode Island in particular, this being another way that we can show what URI is all about, right? Because we're not in that Power 5 level, right? And I think right now, to the Pac-12 point, right? We're transitioning really to a Power 4, and who's going to, what's going to happen with the ACC, right? That it might end up just being Big 12, Big 10, right? Those in the SEC kind of leading the charge, right? But where these smaller schools fit into this is just another opportunity. This is another place for us to show student athletes what the University of Rhode Island can do for them. And if we can give them some opportunities on the collective side to compensate themselves off of their name, image, and likeness, I think we can create something really special here. So to me, there's so many question marks. There's so much gray area, but by doing it the right way, by getting our fans involved, by getting our contributors involved, we're changing the way that folks can look at the University of Rhode Island and the true potential that lies at some of these schools. So it's a great point. It's something that I think is scary for some people, but to me, opportunity is there, right? It's a chance for us to really capitalize and make URI even that much more of a special place.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And two things I know my dad always said, every opportunity is an opportunity to get better, but change is something that's always happening. So nothing stays the same. Good stuff from Your View broadcaster turned Executive Director of the Rhody Experience, Stone Freeman.
Rhody Excellence, Quincy. Rhody Excellence.
Oh, I said excellence. What did I say?
Yeah. Experience. That's right. We won't hold it against you.
It is an experience, but it's experience excellence.
I need to change my glasses. That's what I need to do. Change needs to happen. But yes, thank you so much, Stone Freeman, and thanks for your time, my man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always a blast talking with you guys. So thanks again.
Oh man.
Glasses, Danielle.
I know. I'm worried about you over there. We're going to get Quincy some glasses. I know the NCAA tournament just wrapped, but that transfer portal has been a hot topic through March Madness. Quincy, has that been something you've been following as well?
Yeah, because my bracket has been busted many times, and the college athletes are getting paid. Everybody wants to get paid, of course, especially the buskers. All right, and we're going to check on them next right here on Main Street Living. Stay right there.